Hey guys, hello, we keep it dirty off-road, and I got Jason with me again today.
What's up?
And today we're doing Krazy House Customs shock bucket. So Krazy House Custom has this kit for a couple of different trucks from different generation Fords, I think 11th gen up, right? 11th gen F150.
Yep.
And a couple of other different trucks. And the whole goal of this is to replace the stock shock bucket with a much taller shock bucket to allow you to run larger shocks.
Which is a big problem when you're trying to do a Raptor swap and you can't use all the Gen 2 stuff because it doesn't fit.
The Gen 2 shocks won't bolt on to a 13 gen F150, the 2015 to 2020. It just won't bolt on. It won't work. Sure, you could fit it, but the angles aren't going to be right and the shock's going to be compressed, so you're not going to get the travel that you want out of it.
Yeah, people do it. I've seen it done, but I've seen them blow out too.
And it doesn't work off-road. And that's the key. It does not work off-road unless you modify the shock bucket to get you that extra 2 to 3 inches.
That's what she said.
So guys, in this video, we enlisted the help of Evo Manufacturing. It involves some major changes to the frame, and honestly, Jason was a little nervous about if things went wrong, what do you do?
Oh, it's a major modification, especially if you're cutting stuff off your frame.
Exactly. So Evo Manufacturing hooked us up.
We worked with Doug at Evo Manufacturing. He was kind enough to lend us one of his guys and some space in his shop that's always busy.
And his expertise.
So that definitely came in handy.
So join us as we go ahead and install it on the truck, and hopefully it turns out good. And then we'll do some testing on this trip.
Sounds good.
Sensor, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take off the whole spindle.
Quickly show kind of what you marked off, and basically you just have it right at the limit of the curve, right? That's what we're marking off. These, did you do any measuring on this one right here, on that cut? I see you have a mark right there.
No, not yet. I went rough as possible. Definitely wider than this upper arm mount. I went a little bit wider.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna try and match it and make it look like that one.
Oh, okay, I see. Now, if you guys are going to be doing this at home, you can definitely do this with the cutting wheel, no problem. Just make sure that you cut the sections out of the way and be real careful. Now, this is a professional shop, so they went ahead and broke out the plasma cutter. Now, before they did that first, they needed to protect a few areas because plasma cutter will cause some damage. So as you can see, they put some protection behind the shock bucket before they started doing the plasma cutting.
Put the plate back there.
Look at that, dude. Now it's time for us to do the rough cut. Now here, make sure you pay close attention to the pictures that are online that Krazy House Customs provide. There's some very exact measurements for how the left and the right side of the shock bucket need to be cut in order to fit. Now, there is some tolerances here, so it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Just make sure you get as close as you can to this, and once you're done with the cut, make sure you do a cleaning of that cut too, so it's nice and smooth. Very close with the measurements. You guys can see that's the new line. It's kind of what you want to do too. You want to get a rough cut in and then get your fine measurement in afterwards. Can you tell which one's driver, which one's passenger?
You got a D here, and you got a P there.
Is it a tight fit?
It is.
Tight is then you need to massage it with a hammer, or that line needs to get massaged more.
Let's see if I can push this line off.
Man, it's like right on it, isn't it? Now, this is an issue the guys with the 2.7s are going to face. The lines that feed the AC actually get in the way. The ones in the Raptor are actually designed very differently so that they're not in the way. So you are going to have to gently move those out of the way. Now, you saw him pull on it a little bit. There are other ways where you can pry on it, but be very, very careful if you have to bend any AC lines out of the way. You don't want to damage those. Now, like any bolt-on kit, there is some massaging and finessing that has to happen in order to get these shock buckets to fit. And for the most part, they will fit. There's been a lot of installations of these shock buckets over the last couple of years, and they work. So Jason elected to go with Doug's advice, and we ended up doing a full weld-on to his truck so that we have a much stronger connection. And that's something you guys got to understand. Bolt-on is great. Bolt-on is easy, so that anybody can do it. But if you weld it on, you have a much stronger hold and a much stronger setup.
Those are really useful too if you get the right size for leaf springs.
So you guys remember that AC line that was giving us trouble earlier? Well, it gave us trouble again when it came down to putting the shock bolt on. We had no access to one of the shock bolts. This setup right here basically needed two people to pry the AC line while the other guy used this whole contraption with the pivot in order to get it to reach the bolt and basically tighten it up. It was quite a pain to do, which is going to be a pain when we come back later and do some maintenance. Pretty big difference, dude. The good thing about this kit is you can install it either way. You can either do it as a bolt-on or you can do it as a weld-on. It's really up to you on what you want to decide. Weld-on is obviously going to be the strongest, with the bolt-on being the easiest. And the one thing we didn't call out is if you end up doing a bolt-on, you will need a 90-degree drill in order to get those 2 holes drilled out.
Yes.
Right? And then obviously the plates will have to go into place. Now, as far as we understand, this may be one of the first 2.7s to get this kit, right? Not many 2.7s have actually got the shock bucket kit.
He said that there's enough of these kits out there that there should be enough of them on, you know, 2.7s, 5.0s, 3.5, kind of universal. But the challenges you'll face during the installation kind of depend on what motor you got too.
Yeah, as you guys saw, we had to relocate the AC lines and the ABS lines. The ABS lines will be for anybody, but the AC lines, that's unique to the 2.7.
And you just got to be careful with those. Just bend it slowly. It's aluminum, it'll bend, but don't do it too fast or you'll snap it and there goes all your coolant.
You can only go so much.
Your charge.
I hope this video doesn't detract you guys from trying this. If you are concerned about having to do all that cutting, hire a shop. Have a shop do it for you so that if there is an issue, it's already there and you don't have to worry about getting it there without a full shock on one side. Now, if you guys are interested in getting a set, make sure you guys go to Krazy House Customs. We're going to put our discount count below here, right here probably somewhere. If you guys want to get a set, 10% off code right here, Krazy House Customs. And it's good for the whole website, guys. So anything on Krazy House Customs website. So make sure you guys check that out.
They make some killer stuff.
They make a lot of kills. They make some nice bumpers, man. This kit, if you're wondering, this kit's also perfect for the Raptors, Gen 1 Raptors. You're looking to do a Gen 1 Raptor and upgrade the shocks on that thing. It's a perfect kit for that as well.
Definitely a way better ride. Definitely happy with it.
Is it taking the jumps back?
I think so. The iBox springs on the front, it's kind of, seems like it's maybe just a little bit more bouncy.
I don't recommend iBox on swaps. Unless you have a V8 up front, I don't recommend the iBox at all on a swap truck. Honestly, the stock shocks are gonna serve you much better than the aftermarket.
I got a killer deal on these shocks. Thank you, Sean. I'm gonna run with it until I decide to change it up.
Now, one area we are gonna address in a future video is what's going on with this rear shock. There's a lot of forums that say you can just bolt on Gen 2 shocks back there and it'll be fine. You have Gen 1 Raptor shocks back there and they're already rubbing, which is concerning to me because the only reason they're rubbing is because you actually took yours off-road. Makes me wonder about a lot of the guys that swap these, if they're actually taking it off-road or not.
When I've taken it off-road, I'm not easy on it. I mean, I hang out with, you know, you guys and keep up with you guys, so, you know.
So it's just one of those things, right, where this kind of been my mantra from the beginning of this channel. Don't always believe what you read in the forums because there's a lot of opinions on there, not much experience. A perfect example of that where everybody says they just bolt on and it'll work, and we have nothing but Raptor parts here, and it's not working. It's actually scratching a hole, and if we put a Gen 2 shock in there, it'd actually blow it out.
It would blow through it, yeah.
Right, so that's what we're gonna work on next. Jason's looking at a couple of options on how to get the Gen 2 shocks to work back there. Not just be on there and work at Starbucks, but actually work off-road.
Let me know in the comments below what you think I should do to kind of solve this problem with the rear. Should I just go full bed cage, bypasses, and Raptor axle? And
I'd be interested to hear, too, if other Raptor swap guys have seen that in the back, because it can't be unique to your truck.
After talking with one of the main swap guys, he pointed out that it could be because of the crack in the top shock mount on the driver's side. They're cracked on the top, then I might have something going on with the axle mount.
And it kind of goes towards that thinking of F150 frame the same as a Raptor frame. It's not as strong. And this is something that we've been talking about from the beginning. We talked about it in our last video. It's not as strong, and that's something you guys have to consider when you're doing these swaps. All right, guys, I know we talked a lot about it. If you have any questions, again, put it down below. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Thanks, Jason, for letting us film it. Again, thank you to Doug at Evil. Big thank you to Henry for all the hard work he put in to get this done.
Definitely.
And then thank you to Krazy House Customs for trusting us to do this video. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.